We start with breaking news out of Buffalo. Bills linebacker Matt Milano has torn a bicep, and he'll be out indefinitely. He'll undergo surgery for this torn bicep and hopes to return later this season, according to Adam Schefter, maybe by December. Head coach Sean McDermott made the announcement before practice today. Listen in.
As far as Matt's concerned, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, right? Matt's a strong young man. I know he's going to handle this. Certainly tough, especially coming off of the year he came off of already. The good thing is he's got a good family behind him that are going to support him, teammates that are going to support him, as well as the coaching staff and our entire football organization. He's resilient. We've got to be resilient. We've got to move forward and be focused on solutions.
Let's bring in ESPN Bills reporter Alaina Getzenberg, who was at the team's joint practice with the Steelers today. Alaina, what was the reaction from the team after the Milano news broke?
Laura, the last Bills player just actually exited the field as we were coming on with you. And we told left tackle Dion Dawkins he didn't know of this news as he was coming off of this practice. He was informed by the media. You could tell he was visibly emotional. This is someone he was drafted in the same class as Matt Milano, and the emotions were high. But from a leadership perspective, he said other guys will step up and be vocal. And I actually talked to safety Damar Hamlin about, missing someone like Milano, and he said they are going to hold it down for him. Now, it was actually nickel corner Taron Johnson who, talking to him about Dorian Williams, who will take that spot for Matt Milano, the 2023 third-round pick for the Bills. He said, this is your opportunity. This is the kind of opportunity where stars are born. And out here at this practice today, Dorian Williams did have a nice pass breakup, flexed a bit after it. But this team overall, the message is that they're going to come together and take that place of Matt Milano, but he is someone that they cannot replace out there on the field.
Yeah, a great point, Alaina. Huge shoes to fill. Thanks for the latest there from Bills camp. Mina, I know you've really thought this guy was incredibly talented for years. I can think of a few times when we even talked about how crucial he's been for this Bills defense. How big a loss is this for Buffalo?
Yeah, it's enormous. When Matt Milano's healthy, he's one of the best off-ball linebackers in the NFL, particularly great in coverage. That skill set is really rare, frankly, Laura. And for me, the optimistic case for this Bills defense, and I am optimistic about them, a lot of that rested on Milano returning after, of course, he missed last season, and now that's on delay. It is encouraging to hear he could possibly return in December because this is a team that should be playing meaningful games then and beyond. As far as what they do now, the Bills primarily, almost entirely actually, live in nickel, which means you've only got a couple linebackers on the field. Alaina mentioned Dorian Williams, the younger player, is going to be stepping up to replace Milano. But I will say Terrell Bernard, who started last year, I thought was excellent for them, really good as a pass rusher in particular. So at least you have that continuity because him and Williams did get so many reps last season. But boy, this Bills defense, you think about the spine, used to be such a strength for them with those safeties and Milano, and now it's a very young group. So they're going to need not only those young players, but also veterans and corner and edge to step up too.
Yeah, to echo what Mina was talking about, this is a devastating loss because of Matt Milano, who in my opinion is a top 5 linebacker in this league. His ability to cover, in a league that's a passing league, his ability to cover the middle of the field has just been uncanny. And when you talk about the changes that this Buffalo Bills defense has been going through with all the veterans, particularly in the secondary, that they let go of, and now you having one of the best off-the-ball linebackers in Matt Milano not going to be available for most of the season. That's just another thing on top of everything that's been going on with Buffalo's defense that they have to overcome.
Similar to what D. Wood and Mina were saying, here's a statistic similar to that graphic. They lost 42% of the snaps from last year, and when you were tracking them in the offseason, I was focusing on, okay, they're going to get Von Miller back. They're going to get Matt Milano back. They're going to be okay. Now, look, I think Dorian Williams will be very competent, certainly athletic enough, but to me, it's the intangibles that go along with somebody like Matt Milano to try to get all those young players lined up. That's going to be the big question mark that Sean McDermott's going to have to figure out. Who's going to be the quarterback of this defense? Do they have enough ability? Possibly, but I'd be much more concerned about who's going to be the single caller, and that's going to be much harder to replace when you lose somebody like Matt Milano.
Yeah, it's a great point. At least they do have some time left in this preseason to figure out some of that, but certainly not as seamless as what Milano would do. He has allowed the lowest yards per target of any linebacker. A little bit of maybe better news than we thought. Kevin O'Connell confirming that wide receiver Jordan Addison avoided a major ankle injury. He said, "I don't see him missing any extended time." He told reporters at the Browns facility today. Now, of course, the big news yesterday was that J.J. McCarthy will be out for the season. The rookie quarterback won't play this year. That means a whole lot of Sam Darnold. So here's head coach Kevin O'Connell with more about the quarterback situation.
His ownership of the offense has really gotten to a really good place already. I think he's been able to, from an X's and O's standpoint, lead, which we need our quarterback to do. But at the same time, I think it's just his comfort in how we've built, the atmosphere for all of our quarterbacks, whether it's Sam or JJ. I think it's allowed those guys to have a lot of runway, a lot of ability to just match their work ethic and their daily grind that puts them in a platform that their teammates see it, and then ultimately just going out and doing their jobs.
It's been a minute since Sam Darnold has been QB1 for a team. He's made 18 starts in 3 seasons since being traded from the Jets. And while he hasn't played with a receiver like Justin Jefferson, his numbers in Carolina and San Francisco were almost identical to what he posted 3 seasons with New York. I think that Justin Jefferson piece, though, is pretty important. Damien, could we see a Darnold career revival this year? Are you seeing that in your crystal ball?
Well, he'll definitely have the opportunity. When we talk about quarterbacks, I like to reference infrastructure. What's the infrastructure around the quarterback? And you look at what Sam Darnold is working with this year. He's working with one of the better play callers in Kevin O'Connell in the National Football League. Obviously, the weapons on the outside, talking with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson at tight end. Okay, so the weapons that he's surrounded by in the offensive line, I don't want to forget those guys as well. He's surrounded by some really, really high-end talent. Sam Darnold's been a guy that, quite honestly, he hasn't really elevated to the nature of his talent. But with these guys surrounded, it's now or never for Sam Darnold. You got an opportunity to kind of reset who you are in the National Football League with elite talent around you.
D-Wood, I agree with you from a talent standpoint, but when you study Sam Darnold going back to USC, the one issue he's had consistently is turning the ball over. And over time, traditionally, if you can't break that habit 7 years into your career, it's really hard to break that habit. So we saw it at USC, we saw it at the New York Jets. It hasn't gotten better at all the various stops. So if I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm telling him, hey, you're playing point guard here. You got Aaron Jones, you got Justin Jefferson. At some point, you'll get Hawkinson back. And all you have to do is run this offense. You don't have to play hero ball. And if he does that, maybe he has a chance to change the trajectory of his career, because he certainly has the ability, he has the character, he has the toughness. But that has been the one issue consistently in his game that he hasn't been able to overcome. And that could be a fatal flaw. We're going to find out in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I think with Sam Darnold, it's kind of worth taking a second to talk about what he's good at and what he struggles with. The strengths. The arm talent. I mean, the deep dig to Naylor over the weekend, one of the best throws of the entire weekend. And those are the throws he's capable of making. He can throw it all over the field. I think there's a reason why the coaching staffs in Minnesota and in San Francisco, when they chose him last year, were drawn to him. The athletic ability, the scrambling. You really saw that in display in Carolina, that ability to extend plays, both with the ball in his hands and looking to throw downfield. The biggest downside is what Mike said, which is the turnovers. And I think what becomes interesting when we kind of consider whether or not he can improve on that is why they happen. Is it a matter of decision-making, vision, not seeing the defense, reading defenses well, or is it a tendency that was exacerbated by situation, bad coaching, feeling the need to press, not having world beaters on offense? Those variables have been removed now. He's in a situation where I think Kevin O'Connell, as everybody said, is going to put him in a great position to succeed. Justin Jefferson, a 50-50 ball to Justin Jefferson is a 70-30 ball in your favor. So everything around him is set up to cut down on those turnovers. But as both these guys have said, it is now or never for Darnold.
Yeah, I was listening to the Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny earlier today. She hasn't yet gotten to Minnesota. That's coming soon. So tune in, Vikings fans. But Mina, you pointed out just how there's no good way to talk about J.J. McCarthy having to miss the season. But Sam Darnold shared in something that I thought was pretty important today. He said it's really sad for him and his family, but excited that he's going to be able to develop in that quarterback room. Could be important ultimately for the rookie's career.